and forced to spend days and nights in camps and open areas under a merciless sky. Lack of access to food, clean water, shelter, and basic healthcare is making life harder for them with each passing day. Critical infrastructure, roads, bridges, and railway networks have been seriously damaged and destroyed. This is impeding our efforts for delivery of aid and transportation of affectees to safer locations. The situation is likely to deteriorate even further as heavy rains continue over areas already inundated by more than 2 months of storm and flooding. For us, this is no less than a national emergency. For the most vulnerable, especially the women and children impacted by this disaster, this is a life-defining experience. Excellencies, I've personally visited many of the flood-hit areas. Words cannot describe what it feels like to see people displaced from their own homes while mourning the loss of their loved ones. I've seen the pain, anguish, and suffering in their eyes, having literally lost everything they owned, now waiting for the next food pack, unsure about their futures. They are looking up to us for survival and to rebuild their lives and livelihoods. In addition to the human misery, these extraordinary floods have taken a severe toll on the economy and further stretched our limited resources. Excellencies, the government of Pakistan is cognizant of its responsibilities and has been leading the humanitarian response with invaluable support from the United Nations and humanitarian partners. As part of our national efforts, we've earmarked $173 million to help flood-affected people through direct cash transfers. This will be dispersed through the Benazir Income Support Program to 1.5 million families who will each receive 25,000 rupees in immediate cash relief. Rupees 5 billion has been allocated to the National Disaster Management Authorities for relief efforts. The government is also providing 1 million rupees in compensation for next of kin of the deceased, 250,000 rupees for injury and for partial damage of houses, 500,000 rupees for destroyed houses. In addition to financial support, food packs, shelter items including tents and water, sanitation and hygiene supplies are also being provided by the National Disaster Management Authorities and the Provincial Disaster Management Authorities. The government's efforts are being supported by the Pakistani nation, with people, civil society and humanitarian organizations stepping forward in a big way to complement the relief work with our characteristic generosity and philanthropic spirit. The Prime Minister's Relief Fund 2022 has also been established to facilitate people all over the country and to contribute to the flood relief efforts. Excellencies, but as it is evident, this disaster is colossal in its scale and devastation. It has severely strained, even overwhelmed, both our resources and our capacity. It has left millions vulnerable to health emergencies and a critical lack of basic survival needs. The gap between such needs and the capacity to deliver with speed and scale is crucial at this point. It requires urgent cooperation and support from the international community. We are profoundly grateful for the initial round of spontaneous solidarity and support from so many of our friends and partners around the world. I would like to acknowledge and thank all our friends for the prompt financial support and relief assistance being provided by several countries as well as the United Nations, World Bank, and Asian Development Bank. We are especially grateful to the United Nations resident coordinator and his team for the excellent support that has been extended to us since the onset of this calamity. We need to expand and scale up these efforts and response. For that, we are launching the UN Flash Appeal for Pakistan Flood Response Plan 2022 today. The appeal prioritizes focused interventions in areas of education, food security, agriculture, health, nutrition, protection, shelter, and non-food items, water, sanitation, and hygiene. We also need assistance